Captain Leon stood at the edge of the destroyed outpost, looking at the sky. Smoke still rose from the hills, and broken machines covered the land. His squad was resting, tired and wounded. They had been fighting the alien race called the Zereth for almost a year. No one expected peace. No one believed the war would stop. Then a message came from the enemy. A small ship landed under a white flag. From it stepped an alien woman, tall, graceful, and wearing armor made of silver and black. She had sharp eyes and markings on her skin that glowed softly. 2 guards followed her, but she raised her hand to stop them. "I wish to speak to the human commander," she said calmly. Leon stepped forward. He didn't raise his weapon, but he stayed alert. "I'm Captain Leon. Speak." The alien woman looked at him with a serious face. "I am Queen Thalira of the Zereth Empire." Everyone froze. The Zereth Queen herself had come. It didn't make sense. "I have a proposal," she said, her voice strong. "If you marry me, I can end the war." Leon blinked. He thought he had heard wrong. "What did you just say?" "I said," she repeated, "if you marry me, I will end this war. Right here. Right now." The soldiers around Leon whispered in confusion. Some thought it was a trap. Others didn't know what to think. A queen asking for marriage. To a human. "Why me?" Leon asked, still shocked. Thalira looked at him with steady eyes. "Because I've studied you. You fight with honor. You protect your people. My empire follows old laws. Only a royal bond with an outsider can allow peace. I have chosen you." Leon didn't know what to say. His heart beat faster. A queen offering peace, just like that. "What happens if I say no?" he asked. She looked at the broken field around them. "Then the war continues. More will die. On both sides." Leon looked at his squad. Some young, some injured, all tired of fighting. He looked at the alien queen again. Her face showed no fear, only a strange hope. "Think carefully, human," she said. "This is more than marriage. This is the only chance to stop the bloodshed." Leon didn't answer right away, but he knew this decision would change everything. Captain Leon returned to the human base with the Queen's message. Everyone was waiting. Soldiers, officers, and high command sat around a large table, confused and worried. "A marriage," one general said, shaking his head. "This must be a trap." Another officer leaned forward. "Or maybe it's real. She came without weapons. That means something." Leon stood tall and calm. "She's serious." I looked into her eyes. She wasn't lying. "But why you?" asked a diplomat. "Why would the queen of the enemy empire want to marry a human soldier?" Leon answered slowly. "She said it's part of her culture. Their laws say a royal must bond with someone from another race to bring peace. She said I've earned her respect because of how I fight and how I protect others." Some people in the room laughed. Others stayed silent. The idea sounded strange, but also possible. One woman at the table, a science officer named Dr. Valen, spoke next. "If she's telling the truth, this could be the first real chance to stop the war. Millions could be saved." The top commander, General Rains, looked at Leon. "And what do you think? Would you really marry her?" Leon didn't answer right away. His mind was heavy. He thought of his past, his family, his fallen friends, and the battles he survived. Then he said quietly, "I don't know, but I'll never forget the look on her face. She didn't seem like someone playing games." The room grew quiet. Then General Rains nodded. "We need more information. We'll send diplomats and spies to confirm her words. Meanwhile, Captain Leon, I want you to return. Talk to her again. Find out what she really wants." Leon saluted. "Yes, sir." As he left the room, some whispered behind his back, "He'll be the first human to marry an alien queen." But Leon didn't care about rumors. All he thought about was the queen's voice. "If you marry me, I will end this war." Could it be that simple? Outside, the stars were shining. The war had taken so much, cities destroyed, soldiers lost, and hope fading. Now, one strange offer could bring peace. But at what cost? Leon looked up and said to himself, "I'll find the truth, even if it means marrying the enemy." And with that, he prepared to return to the Queen, not as a warrior, but as a man facing the biggest choice of his life. Captain Leon stood once again before the alien Queen's ship. This time, he came alone. No weapons, no armor, just a small translator on his wrist and a heart full of questions. The silver doors opened with a soft sound, and Queen Falira stepped out. She wore a long dark robe with blue markings, and a thin crown rested on her head. Her sharp eyes locked onto his. "You came back," she said. Leon nodded. "I need answers." She gave a small smile. "Then follow me." Inside, the ship was quiet. The walls shimmered like smooth metal and light passed gently through the ceilings. Guards stood at every corner, but none moved to stop him. They respected her order. Falira led him to a private room. It was round, with a glass dome above showing the stars. In the center stood a table with 2 chairs. "Sit, Captain," she said, her voice calm. He sat down across from her. "You said you can end the war if I marry you." Leon began. "Explain how." Falira folded her hands. "The Zareth Empire has an ancient law. When our ruler forms a sacred bond with another species, it forces peace. The law cannot be broken. It was made after a long civil war centuries ago." Leon listened quietly. She continued, "By joining with you, a respected human leader, I can use the law to stop all military actions. My generals will have no choice. My people will be bound to peace." He looked at her closely. "And what do you get from this?" She didn't hesitate. "Hope. My people are tired. They may not show it, but they are. We've lost too much. I want to save what's left. And I've seen the way you fight, not just with weapons, but with your heart." Leon was silent for a moment. "You don't know me," he said. "How can you trust me?" Falira looked up at the stars through the dome. "Because I've studied you. Your name was in our reports many times. You protect your people. You value life. And," she paused, "when you looked at me, you didn't see a monster. That means more than you know." Leon leaned back. He had expected lies, tricks, maybe even pressure. But what he found was truth. Still, the decision wasn't easy. "Let's say I agree," he said slowly. "What happens after?" "Then you will be called King Consort of the Zareth Empire," she replied. "You will live with me, help guide peace, and stand as proof that humans and Zareth can walk the same path." Leon stared at her. "And if I say no?" Her face hardened. "Then war continues. Until one of us is gone." The silence between them stretched long. Finally, Leon whispered, "This isn't just a marriage. It's a responsibility." Falira nodded. "Yes, but maybe it's also a new beginning." Leon agreed to stay for a few days on the alien Queen ship. He needed time to think, but Queen Falira had something else planned. "If you are to marry me," she said, "you must pass a test. My people must see your courage, not just mine." Leon raised an eyebrow. "A test?" She nodded. "We call it the trial of trust. You must enter the crystal caves of Xareth Prime. It's a sacred place. Only those with true hearts return." Leon could have refused, but he didn't. "I'll go," he said. "If peace depends on this, I'll do it." The next day, a small ship took him to the surface of the planet. The sky was purple, and tall stone towers reached into the clouds. Soldiers and priests watched him silently as he walked toward the dark entrance of the caves. And Elder Zareth spoke in a deep voice. "Once inside, no one may help you. Face what waits in silence." Leon nodded and stepped inside. The caves were quiet and cold. The walls shimmered with blue crystals that gave off a soft light. As he moved deeper, he heard strange sounds. echoes of voices, whispers in the dark. Suddenly, he saw something. A shadow moved across the path. It looked like a soldier, one of his old friends who died in battle. But it wasn't real. It was a memory. A fear. "You failed me, Leon," the shadow said. Leon stood firm. "You're not real." Another voice came. A woman's cry. "You left us behind." Then flames appeared. An illusion of a burning city, people screaming. War all around. Leon dropped to his knees, shaking his head. "I did what I could. I never wanted this war." The cave tested his guilt, his regrets, his doubts. But he didn't run. Instead, he stood up, breathing hard, and said out loud, "I'm not perfect. I made mistakes, but I will not run from the past. I want to build a better future." The cave went silent. The fire faded. The shadows vanished. A bright light filled the path ahead. He had passed the trial. When Leon walked out, the elder Zareth looked surprised. "Few leave with clear eyes," he said. "You carry truth in your heart." Back on the Queen's ship, Thalira met him at the landing deck. "You returned," she said, eyes wide. Leon smiled slightly. "The cave showed me pain, but also purpose." She stepped closer, voice softer than before. "Then you are ready." Leon looked at her, no longer with fear or doubt. "Maybe I am." And deep inside, he knew this was not just about stopping a war. It was about starting something the galaxy had never seen before. For the first time in history, a human and a Zareth royal would be joined in marriage. The galaxy watched with curiosity, fear, and hope. News spread fast. Some saw it as betrayal, others as the beginning of peace. On Zareth Prime, the Queen's capital city was filled with silence. No music, no celebration, only deep respect. Their traditions were different from humans. Marriage here was not for joy. It was for duty, honor, and unity. Leon stood inside a temple made of glowing stone and crystal pillars. He wore a dark robe given to him by the Zareth elders. It felt strange, heavy, and full of meaning. The doors opened, and Queen Thalira entered. She wore a silver crown and a long flowing robe, black with gold symbols. She walked with steady steps, her face calm, but her eyes soft. For once, she didn't look like a ruler. She looked like someone finally at peace. They stood before a tall priest who held a staff made of crystal. "Today," the priest began, "we do not join two bodies, but two worlds. One born of stars, one born of earth. May their bond end the fire between them." The room was filled with royal guards, officials, and leaders from both sides. Cameras broadcast the moment across space. Leon looked into Thalira's eyes. "Are you sure?" he whispered. She nodded. More than ever. The priest raised the staff. "Do you, Thalira of House Zareth, accept this human as your bond partner, ruler beside you, and symbol of peace?" "I do," she said clearly. "And do you, Leon of Earth, accept this queen not as your enemy, but as your partner, your equal, your hope?" Leon took a deep breath. "I do." A loud hum filled the air. The crystals in the room glowed as the priest brought the staff down. "It is done," he said. The war was officially over. Ships across the galaxy received the signal. Zareth forces were ordered to stand down. Human bases got the same message: ceasefire. Some celebrated, some stayed silent, but no one could ignore the truth. A human and an alien queen had changed everything. Later, as they stood alone in the garden behind the temple, Leon looked at the stars. "I never thought peace could come like this," he said. Thalira stood beside him. "It took great risk, but sometimes love for your people is greater than fear of the unknown." He smiled. "And what if people say this was just politics?" She turned to him. "Then let them talk. But we know the truth." Leon gently took her hand. "Yes, we do. And under the quiet stars, their journey as partners, Two souls from different worlds had just begun. Peace had come, but peace was not welcomed by everyone. In hidden corners of both empires, anger began to grow. Some humans called Captain Leon a traitor. They said he had betrayed Earth by marrying the enemy. On the other side, Zereth generals whispered that their queen had become weak, soft, because of her bond with a human. Even within the palace, danger was close. Queen Thalira and Leon worked hard each day, meeting with leaders, signing agreements, and building a plan for the future. But in the shadows, rebels were already making their move. One night, while Leon was walking through the palace garden, he noticed something strange. A guard who had always nodded to him suddenly turned his face away. Another servant seemed nervous when handing him food. Leon didn't say anything, but he watched carefully. Later that night, an explosion rocked the east tower of the palace. Alarms rang across the city. Thalira rushed into the command room. What happened? A soldier saluted. A bomb was placed near your private chambers. Someone inside the palace helped them. Leon stepped forward. Are you all right? She nodded. Yes, I was not there, but someone wants us dead. Thalira ordered a full investigation. Her trusted guards moved quickly. Within hours, they caught a group of rebel soldiers. One of them was a former advisor to the queen. When questioned, he shouted, "You were our strength. Now you kneel beside a human." Thalira didn't flinch. I brought peace. The rebel spat on the ground. Peace is weakness. He was taken away, but the message was clear. Not all Zereth believed in this new path. Leon and Thalira met privately that night. We knew it wouldn't be easy, she said, tired but calm. Leon looked serious. Some people will never forgive us. Not for stopping the war, but for doing it together. Thalira placed her hand on his. Then we stay strong. Together. He nodded. We're not just symbols. We're soldiers too. If they fight against peace, then we'll protect it. She looked into his eyes. Are you ready for that kind of fight? Leon smiled. Always. Outside, the stars were bright, but the danger was rising. The war was over, but the battle for peace had just begun. Enemies no longer wore uniforms. They hid behind smiles, titles, and old hatred. But the queen and the human stood side by side, not afraid. Because they knew true peace doesn't come from silence. It comes from standing firm, even when the whole galaxy tries to pull you apart. Weeks passed, and Queen Thalira and Leon did not give up. Even after the attack, they stayed strong. They knew peace needed more than just words. It needed action. So they began traveling together to different planets across the galaxy. Their first visit was to a human colony on Mars. Many people there were unsure about the marriage. Some still hated the Zereth. But when Leon stepped forward, wearing both the Earth badge and the Zereth crest, and spoke openly about the war and loss, the people listened. I lost friends, he said. I know the pain. But more war won't bring them back. Only peace can stop more deaths. Then Queen Thalira spoke. I did not come here as your enemy. I came here as your partner. Your future is my future now. Slowly, people began to clap. Not all, but enough. Next, they visited a Zereth mining world where workers feared humans. Leon walked into the tunnels without guards and sat with the workers. I'm not here to rule you, he said. I'm here to learn. He asked them questions. He helped lift tools. He even tasted their food. The miners laughed when he coughed on the spice, and for a moment, the walls between them began to fall. Even the children of both sides started to play together in the open areas. News of these visits spread fast. A Zereth leader, once against the queen, changed his mind after seeing the people happy and hopeful. He sent a message. If this is what peace looks like, I will support it. But the work was hard. Not everyone clapped. Not every leader agreed. During a visit to a neutral space station, protesters shouted, "Fake peace, false queen." Leon held Thalira's hand tightly. She didn't show fear. Later, he asked, "Doesn't it bother you?" She answered softly, "Of course it does, but change always begins with noise. The silence comes after." Their alliance was growing stronger, not just because of laws, but because of the way they treated others. They didn't sit in a palace and give orders. They walked, they listened, and they acted. One human elder said during a speech, "I didn't trust the aliens, but now I trust her because she chose one of us, and he chose her back." That night, as Thalira and Leon looked out over the stars from their ship, he said, "It's working." She smiled, her voice warm. "Yes, we are planting seeds. One day, the galaxy will bloom." And though darkness still waited in some corners, the light of trust had started to shine. Together, they were not just queen and soldier anymore. They were a bridge between two worlds. Peace was growing stronger every day. But deep in the heart of the palace, betrayal was waiting. One evening, Queen Thalira received a report. A shipment of aid, meant for a starving Zereth colony, had vanished. The supplies were never delivered. "Who was in charge of the delivery?" she asked. An officer answered, "Minister Velrin. He said the ship was attacked, but there are no signs of battle." Leon frowned. "That's too convenient." Velrin was a high-ranking official, one of the Queen's oldest advisors. He had always spoken politely, but never fully accepted Leon's place in the Empire. Thalira ordered an investigation. While the search continued, Leon followed his instincts. He asked workers, guards, and ship crews. Everyone spoke in quiet voices. Most were afraid. But one young pilot finally told the truth. "The cargo was never attacked," he whispered. "It was taken and sold on the black market." Velrin gave the order. Leon rushed back to the Queen. Thalira was silent for a long moment. "He has served the Empire for years. But if he has betrayed our people, he must answer for it." The next day, Velrin was called into the royal hall. He walked in with confidence. "You called for me, my queen." Leon stepped forward. "We have proof you stole from your own people." Velrin didn't even blink. "And if I did, you married a human and expect us all to kneel. You've weakened our empire." Thalira's voice turned cold. "No, I've saved it." "You've ruined it," Velrin shouted. "You let an outsider wear our symbols and speak our laws." Guards stepped forward, but the Queen raised her hand. "I will not rule with fear," she said. "You are guilty, not because you hate, but because you stole from those in need." Velrin was stripped of his title and sent to trial. The law would decide his punishment. That night, Thalira stood alone in the garden, looking at the stars. Leon joined her quietly. "Are you all right?" he asked. She nodded slowly. He was like family once, but his heart was poisoned. Leon placed a hand on her shoulder. He feared change. "You're bringing something new. Not everyone can see it yet." She turned to him. "You saw it before anyone else. That's why I chose you." Leon smiled. "Then let's keep proving them wrong." Together, they walked through the quiet night. The betrayal had shaken them, but it had not broken them. In fact, it made them stronger. Now they knew, even inside their own palace, danger could hide behind friendly faces. But as long as they stood together, truth would shine brighter than any lie. And they were ready for whatever came next. Months passed since the betrayal. Slowly, peace grew stronger. The people began to believe in the Queen and her human husband. Their story spread across stars, a symbol of hope. One morning, Queen Thalira summoned Leon to the royal chamber. She smiled, her eyes shining brighter than ever. "Leon," she said softly, "we have news." Leon looked curious. "What news?" She stepped closer. "I am pregnant." For a moment, Leon could not believe his ears. "A child," he whispered. "Yes," she said, placing a hand over her belly. "A child of both our worlds." The news spread quickly. Some rejoiced, saying the child would unite humans and Zereth forever. Others were afraid. Would this child change everything? Would the old fears return? Leon and Thalira knew the journey ahead would be hard, but they also knew the child was a sign, a new beginning. As the months passed, Leon learned more about the Queen's people and traditions. He attended meetings with elders and healers who taught him how to support the Queen during her pregnancy. Thalira grew stronger every day, carrying hope for both their peoples. One evening, as they walked in the palace garden, Leon held her hand gently. "This child is a miracle," he said, "not just because of what it means for us, but because it shows we can be more than enemies." Thalira nodded. "Our child will not know war. They will know peace, friendship, and love." Leon smiled. "I want to protect that future. For our child. And for all who believe in us." The Queen looked at the stars above. "Our child will carry both bloodlines," she said. "But more importantly, they will carry a message. That two different worlds can come together as one." The court prepared for the birth with great care. Leaders from both humans and Zereth came to offer gifts and blessings. Leon stood proudly beside the Queen, feeling the weight of their promise. When the child was born, the galaxy celebrated. A boy with bright eyes, soft skin that held a strange shimmer, and a calm smile. The child was named Kale. He was a living symbol of hope. In the years to come, Kale grew strong, wise, and kind. He learned both human and Zereth ways. He played with children from both races and dreamed of a future where war was a memory. Leon and Thalira watched their son and knew their sacrifice was worth it. Because peace was no longer just a word. It was a new life, a life born from love.